Welcome to Daily Harmony.
Great to be here.
Today we're embarking on quite a fascinating exploration. We're looking at Lesson 187 from A Course in Miracles.
I bless the world because I bless myself. A really powerful one.
It really is. And for you, the learner, especially if you're keen on understanding that link between, our inner world and outer experience, this lesson offers some, well, profound insights.
Absolutely. It gets right to the heart of the Course's message about perception and reality.
We've got a good set of materials to guide us, a study guide, a briefing focused just on this lesson, and of course, excerpts from the workbook itself.
Plenty to dig into.
So our mission really is to unpack this core idea that blessing others isn't separate from blessing ourselves. They're like deeply intertwined.
Almost synonymous, you could say. It really challenges that everyday feeling we have of being these separate entities, doesn't it?
It does. The course itself, for anyone maybe newer to it, is this whole self-study system, right?
Yeah.
Aimed at shifting how we see things to find inner peace.
Exactly. And Lesson 187 is a prime example.
Yeah.
It suggests those boundaries we perceive between me and the world. They're maybe more fluid than we think.
Okay, so let's dive into that central theme first. Interconnectedness. All our sources are hitting this hard.
Yeah. Blessing the world and blessing yourself, they're presented as essentially the same act.
It's like holding up a mirror, almost. What you send out comes right back.
Precisely. It's interesting, even outside the Course, think about psychological studies on empathy.
Right.
When people genuinely focus on others' well-being, their own well-being often increases. It's not just like a nice idea. There seems to be a real link.
So the Course takes that maybe a step further, saying it's not just psychological, it's fundamental reality.
That's the suggestion, that this connection is just how things are at a deeper level.
Okay, now let's layer in perception. This is where it gets really interesting, I think. The briefing talks about how our perceptions literally shape our experience.
It's a core tenet.
So if we consciously choose to bless the world, actively look for the good, wish people well, are we essentially like training ourselves to see a better reality?
That's exactly the implication, yeah.
Okay.
Instead of just reacting to whatever seems to be happening out there.
Right, feeling like a victim of circumstance.
Exactly. This lesson empowers you. It says you can actively shape your experience by changing your internal perception, your inner lens.
So it begs the question, doesn't it? If my outer world reflects my inner state, what actually happens when I deliberately choose to perceive through blessing?
It suggests the outer world has to shift in response, or at least your experience of it does.
Which means blessing outward is a really direct path to blessing inward. The study guide mentions this fostering unity, compassion.
Yeah, moving away from that sense of isolation. And it's crucial to see it's not about like self-sacrifice in the traditional sense.
No, it's more like recognizing that my good is tied up with everyone else's good.
Exactly, a shared well-being. We often think of giving and getting as totally separate things, right?
Sure. I give something, I have less. You get something, you have more.
But this lesson flips that. It suggests a deeper reciprocity. When you extend those positive intentions, you're not losing anything. You're actually tapping into something bigger, a shared source.
Okay, and this flows naturally into shifting away from judgment, doesn't it? Towards acceptance. All the sources mention this.
They do. Blessing is almost the opposite of judgment.
Right. Like, how can you genuinely bless someone you're simultaneously judging harshly?
It's difficult, maybe impossible, when you choose to bless even someone you find really challenging.
Yeah, we all have those people.
Right. You're making a conscious choice to look beyond maybe their actions or your reaction to them and see something else, their inherent worth maybe.
And what's fascinating there, as you mentioned, is how blessing them can trigger forgiveness within me.
Yes, because judgment builds walls, right, between you and them, but also inside yourself. It locks you into negativity.
Whereas acceptance, or at least the willingness to bless, starts to dismantle those walls.
It fosters connection. It acknowledges that, as the study guide says, shared existence, and maybe even the divine nature inherent in all. It's a big shift.
So the message seems clear. If we want a more peaceful, loving experience of the world,
The work starts inside. Definitely.
our inner state isn't just passively sitting there, it's actively painting the picture we see.
That's a great way to put it. Like tuning a radio, I sometimes think.
How so?
Well, if your inner dial is tuned to, say, judgment, fear, negativity, that's the frequency you're going to pick up from the world around you. You'll notice things that confirm it.
Okay.
Blessing, then, is like deliberately tuning to a different station. Love, peace, acceptance. And then you start noticing that more.
Right. Okay, so let's get practical. Why does this actually work? What's the mechanism here? It feels like more than just positive thinking.
It really comes back to that core idea of interconnectedness again. When you consciously choose to bless someone else, you are on some level acknowledging that shared reality, that fundamental connection. You're looking for and affirming their inherent goodness, their light, whatever term you prefer.
And doing that, it resonates back somehow.
Exactly. It resonates within you because you're aligning yourself with love, with acceptance instead of separation or fear. That fosters a positive internal state almost automatically.
So it's that mirror idea again? The positive intention bounces back as inner peace or well-being?
That seems to be the core principle, yes.
Okay, the sources give some really concrete ways to try this out. The morning intention sounds pretty simple.
Yeah, just taking a moment when you wake up,
Mm-hmm.
setting the intention. Today, I choose to bless everyone I encounter.
Even just wishing them well silently or feeling gratitude for their part in the world.
Even that, it's simple, but it can be surprisingly powerful. It sets a different tone for the day, right? It primes you to look for the good.
It puts you on that different frequency from the start.
Exactly. You're choosing that lens of blessing before you even walk out the door.
Then there's the blessing exercise. This one seems more targeted, especially for, those difficult relationships.
Right. The ones that really push our buttons.
Visualizing them surrounded by light, consciously extending blessings. That feels like serious inner work.
It is. Because it's really about shifting your internal response. It's not necessarily about changing them or even condoning what they do.
No, it's about releasing my own negativity around it.
Precisely. Releasing the judgment, the resentment, and in doing that, recognizing their inherent worth underneath whatever the issue is. That frees you up enormously.
It's like, as one source put it, speaking light over the situation, changing your perception of it.
Yeah, transforming it from the inside out.
And the third practical thing, the gratitude journal. How does that fit?
Well, listing things and people you're grateful for, it really highlights the blessings already flowing to you.
So it reinforces that reciprocity. It's not just about sending blessings out, but recognizing the ones coming in.
Exactly. Gratitude focuses you on the good you've received, the ways others enrich your life. It cultivates that sense of abundance and connection.
It makes the whole idea of blessing feel less abstract, more like a tangible current that flows both ways.
It grounds it in your actual lived experience.
So wrapping this up for you, the learner, maybe the question to sit with is, how does this act of blessing others actually shift how you see yourself and your whole experience of the world?
Yeah, notice it. This lesson isn't just saying be nice to people. It's saying that blessing is fundamental to your own peace, your own happiness.
Think about times maybe you genuinely wished someone well, or felt compassion or extended kindness. Did you feel a shift inside yourself afterwards?
Lesson 187 invites a conscious exploration of that link. When you actively choose to bless the world.
You're cultivating inner peace, like tending a garden inside.
Right. And those inner blessings, that inner peace, it just naturally starts to radiate outward. It can't help but change how you experience things.
So this deep dive is really an encouragement. Try these practical things, the morning intention, maybe the blessing exercise next time you feel challenged, or starting that gratitude list.
See for yourself. Observe how that conscious shift towards blessing creates those positive ripples. They start inside you, but they extend out.
It's really more than just a nice philosophy, isn't it? It feels like a practical key.
A key to unlocking a different experience, definitely.
And maybe a final thought to consider. How can cultivating self-kindness, that inner blessing directed towards yourself, transform your relationships? How can making radiating inner love your default setting change everything? Something to explore.